Hello everyone, Zfaroli here. It's been a while since I made a video, but people have been requesting I make something talking about Arachne, so I thought I should do that as a welcome back thing. So yeah, Arachne, of course. For those who don't know, she's an assassin, and as you can see, I have quite a bit of experience with her. Assassin, her weaknesses are mainly that her strength is that she has a really good 1v1 potential, and you really want to try to focus on that. Her downside is she has no mobility other than her ult, and you're honestly going to only use her ult to escape unless you know you can secure a kill, or you really need to quickly get to a team fight or get to someone to help them out in a lane. So really, how you would build her is you want to work on that. So, well, I'll just go quickly through the abilities. Predator, basic idea is the more damage a foe has, the more damage your basic does. I mean, the less health your foe has, the more damage your basic attacks do. Pretty a decent amount. 1.5 by half health, they're doing. Let's see. You could do. It's a pretty massive amount of damage. So that's 5%. That's basically 15 extra damage. But 15% extra damage at half, so you're going to be, as they're getting lower and lower, you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage to the autos. Venomous Bite, her main way that she's probably a really good jungler. You basically, you stim your next auto attack that gives you a 1 second, next auto attack's going to bite and poison them. You do a pretty bursty initial damage. And then you get a dot and a heal dot. A dot damage and a heal dot. Which is actually a pretty strong heal if you build correctly and everything. It's definitely a great way for her to keep going in a fight and also get a lot of kills with that. Her second ability is Cocoon, which honestly I think is like one of the weaker parts of her kit in some situations. Basically, your next three successful basic attacks have a better attack speed, and if you hit all three of them on the same target, you stun them for a decent amount of time. I usually level up this ability last. Well, not last, I do the ult last, but I get this as the last of the non-ults, because you don't really need, the stun is not, the 1 second stun going to 1.4 is not great. It's good, but not amazing. The attack speed is good, is pretty good, but you only get it for 3 attacks, so that's like less than a second. And it's mainly like you want to use it if you're only like, you want to make sure the guy is not around minions or other gods. Otherwise, one missed auto, it's gone forever. And you just waste an ability almost. Web, probably the most fun of her abilities. You basically drop a wall of web in a location. You can have 2 out at once, and if anyone walks into it, it slows them and spawns broodlings, and also puts a web trail, which increases your movement speed by a lot and makes you immune to slows. This is the way you are going to almost always initiate fights with. Drop the web on the person or right where you know they're going to go. And then just, if you hit them, most of the time you're going to just charge into that person. Because the web trails stay for like about a good 5 seconds after they're made. So if you can run in, kill someone, and quickly run out with a speed boost and slow immunity, you can get out of some pretty, you can go in, kill, squishy, get out without the other team able to stop you sometimes. I level this one second, but I get 2 points into it by level 3 because the extra broodling damage, 30 per, basically 60 damage per second, because they're pretty much attacking every second or so. And it's pretty good in terms of the speed. The speed, the damage at level 3 is pretty good. 60 per second by 2, and the broodlings have a little bit more HP at the same time. Definitely good to have at level 2 ranks at level 3, and then max to 1. then max to 3. So that's at least useful mid game, and then the 2, and then the ult. Because the ult, honestly, all you're getting at it is a pretty decent power boost, but again, you're not really using it as an initiation too often. And a cooldown reduction, which is the better part of it. But it's not great. I mean, it's up to you. You can either do the 2 or the 4 as you're upgrading. Anyway, building her. You can go clear. Got a little preview there. For her, you can take her almost all the time in jungle, but every so often you can go in solo. But I'll go over the jungle one first. It's only a really different starting kit. So really, jungle, you're going to want to start Bumbas. You need the MP5. Arachne already has a really strong MP5, but you do use mana quickly, so it's always good. And getting a little extra damage on your abilities is nice. On your autos only. The only thing this affects is your autos, and you do need it a little bit for your clear. And also, with your one and this and one lifesteal item, you can stay out in the jungle forever. In terms of health wise. After that, you're gonna be getting your pots, your health pots. 3 of each I usually grab myself. And also you're going to get boots 1, but I'm going to grab just full boots here. You're going to get Bumbas, boots 1, and 3 of each pot. Sometimes if you're worried, I sometimes grab them. I also grab a ward at the start. And then while I'm laying out webs, which I'll explain after this part, when you're laying out webs, you can go and drop a ward by the other team's mid camp, and you'll be able to watch when they get to mids or anything, or if they're going to try to take mids or anything. It's always good to know where they are. After that, you're going to go out, do your thing. First time you're going to build is Warrior Tabby. Extra movement speed. Arachne definitely wants the movement speed rushed. And the power is good. Definitely makes her autos hit harder, her heal hit harder. And that's pretty much it. Next, you can go 2 routes with the next item. At least in my view. You either go Asai, or you go, I'm putting it in defensive because that's where I normally put it. Either go Asai, or you go, where is it? Runic Shield. Asai you go if you're facing a normal jungler. The lifesteal, the attack speed, and the penetration really flow well with her 1 and lets her box really well. I know a lot of people like Ichabod, but I find that Asai, with the extra penetration to help her spiders and help your heal, benefits more than Ichabod's attack stealing, because your spiders don't get affected by the attack stealing because they don't scale for your attack power, which I wish they kind of did. Runic Shield you get if you're fighting a magical jungler. If you get the Arachne already counters Ao Kuang really, really well because of her webs, because it reveals Ao Kuang in the invisibility. But if you get Runic Shield too, you can pretty much stop an Ao Kuang cold and make sure he is never able to get to the late game. You will be selling this one and this one later. But for now, one of these 2 will be your starting item, second item. After that, I go. It's a bit of an expensive one, but I like to go it because I want to grab some more power. I go Stone Cutting. You get a massive attack power boost. You get a great passive that goes well with her passive, and also the pen you already built here if you got a Sai. And you get movement speed. Arachne needs movement speed. It helps her when she's on a web. It helps her out off a web. It lets her engage targets much better because you're not going to be engaging with your ult. You need to be, Arachne needs to be able to run up to people, and Stone Cutting Swords lets you run up to people. And you know, it's a bit expensive, but you do need it, I think. It gives you a huge power boost. Next, I get, I'm going to grab, it's a defensive item, but I'm going to grab it. Next, Wingblade. Wingblade is the item you're going to... Let me put these in a different order. Wingblade. And... Because... And I'm putting this here, actually. Sorry. Wingblade is what you get next. Cap out your movement speed at 505. Arachne at 505 movement speed is honestly really good. Wingblade also gives you a nice bit of health, good crowd control reduction, attack speed, and a great passive. Yeah, you only have... Basically, you're going to be zipping all the time. 505 movement speed off your webs. 550 or so movement speed, or 530 something movement speed when you have a speed buff. And if you have all that on top of your webs, you're at like 600 something movement speed. You're going to be zipping at your target, getting them before they can even leap away or anything. It's great. And she does need some health too, because she needs to get in people's face and is going to be taking frontline damage. You aren't getting any protections yet, because if you play smart, you won't need the protections till kinda later, because you're relying on the heal from this, the protection stealing from this, and the health from this should let you do what you need to do. After that, I build Kinsize. Great item on her, syncs very well with her passive. Lets her just shred anything in the game. And, well, pretty much that's it. It's a great item on auto assassins, and she's no different. After that, I grab... You can get one of two items. If you're a bit behind, and if you're somehow behind after this, and you finish out, you really need a quick defensive item, you go for Spirit Robe. Cheapish, gives you 30, gives you only 10 cooldown reduction, but it maxes out your crowd control reduction with Wingblade, which is great. When you're behind, that's great. And it gives you damage mitigation, which is also great. Can't go wrong with that. If you are ahead and doing pretty well, Mantle of Discord. You get more protections. You have a 15%. You get a bit more of cooldown reduction. You lose any crowd control reduction, but you can get away with it. 20% is pretty decent. But you get a great passive that actually is really good for her boxing. It could give you a great... It could either let you get away from someone or secure a kill against a hunter that might have otherwise killed you. The 1 second stun lets you get enough to get maybe another heal off, and or finish them off quickly. The 1 second stun plus your 1.4 second stun right afterwards. And then also, if you're in trouble, you can stun the entire team and get out quick to give you enough time for you to ult out. Yeah, it's pretty good for boxing. Combined with this, you get a nice 300 HP with 60 protections, 90 physical if you also have full protections of this. So that's not bad. That really gives you a pretty decent amount of power and everything. After that, I mean, and then you would sell Bimbas to get that. After that, you can go one of two ways. If you got Runic Shield already, or Sai already, you can choose to keep them if you feel like you need them. If you need the extra magical protection against the Ao Kuang and the mostly magical team, it might be a good idea to stick with that. If you are pretty much ripping people to shreds, if people are being more tanky against you, you can keep this. If you notice, you've noticed that you're also, even after this, the lifesteal is saving your butt and the attack speed is saving your butt a lot. You can stick with this, and also if you have if the enemy team still has a bunch of objectives still up, probably good to stick with this. Otherwise, you could sell this for multiple different items. You can go for Bloodforge. Huge power boost. Makes your one really strong. Lets your autos hit like a monster. You're not hitting as fast, and you have a little bit less pen. But that shield will save you. Can help you a lot. Or if you dive into a team, get a kill, get a shield, then you can continue starting to rip other people up. And the movement speed is Arachne with as much movement speed as possible. It's always pretty good. If you notice that the whole team is being very tanky, you need to shred people even more. Execution is pretty good. You could combine with stone cutting. Stone cutting is removing 30 flat protections. This can remove about 8%. That's 32% of flat protections. You could pretty much start to do pure true damage with these two items against tanks, even. Or very close to it. It gives you a bit more power, gives you a bit more attack speed. Always good. Another option is, what is it? That I used to use a lot, but don't use anymore, but it's still pretty decent, is Jotuns. If you feel like you're having a mana issue for some reason, if you feel like you want to keep the pen, but you want to be able to heal more often, drop more webs more often, anything like that, Jotuns is pretty good. Gives you, with Mantle Discord, gives you 35% cooldown. With the other item, it gives you 10%. It gives you 30% cooldown. Always good with that. Those are pretty much the 3 items I would sell a Sai or Runic Shield for. Just make sure if there was anything else I know off the top of my head I might grab. But not really. I've tested out pretty much any option. But yeah, that would be your jungle build, pretty much. If you go... that's pretty much what you do if you're doing jungle. Not much variation on that. The only variation would be replace that with another item. If you're going solo, you have 2 options you can do. I prefer going Mark of the Vanguard with a power pot and power potion and pots, healing pots. Gives you a very decent amount of protections. Lets you tank the poke you're going to get very well early game. And then you move from there. So that's what you would do with that. Otherwise, if you want to be a bit more risky, a risk-reward thing, you would go with throwing dagger start and then build into golden bow, maybe. Gives you movement speed, which you like, helps not slicing on power, gives you a great clear. You won't have to worry about not being outcleared because her auto attacks are so fast. You can pretty much outclear even like Vamanas and stuff if you play right. So that's always good. After that, you would go to similar, but you would probably get physical item here. So for you would get a power and physical. And Void Shield or Shield of Regrowth are both pretty good. But Void Shield is probably the best one. Lets you shred even more, gives you a bit more protections. Lets you tank what you need to tank. Other options are Witchblade if you're going against a hunter. Stuff like that. Relics on her, pretty simple. I like to start Curse no matter what role I go, unless it's solo and I need what's it called? And I need teleport. So you get Curse or Teleport depending on what role you're going in. Curse is almost all the time if you're jungler, because all the slows just pretty much guarantee you can kill people. After that, you either get Sanctuary or Beads, really. Those are the really ones you're going to be getting with her. They'll both let you take more damage or get out of sticky situations, which is always good. And that's pretty much the build I would do on both jungle and solo. Really, the only difference between the two of the items is the second item you build. Instead of a Sai, you go Runic Shield or Void Shield, depending on what you're fighting. Or you can go Witchblade, too. And then the rest of the build is pretty much that. You still want to be focused on damage, even in the solo lane. And you will still want a tiny bit of protections. You want some protections by the end of the game. And Wingblade with Mantle of Discord gives you just the amount I feel that she needs. As for the start, well, that's pretty much it, but I will quickly go over the start you do with her. I'll quickly just bring up the map here. So, the start with her that I think is the best one, you buy your starting item, and you run up here and you drop a web right at the middle of the yellow camp. Then, you can either drop a ward up here at around, I try to drop the ward around 40 seconds. So you can get vision on when they're coming back to lane, or when most of the time, if the mid laner is going to try to get a co-help, they're going to go this way. Only sometimes if they're really pushed, they'll go this way, but most of the time they're going to go this way. And you'll be able to see when they come out and things like that. You drop the web here, you put a ward here, then you drop a web right here, but not where the minions will spawn, but right before it. Then you'll back, restore your mana, get the other side of the potions, and get back here. You'll be able to, you'll usually get back to here by once the timer hits 0. Then you and your solo laner clear this with just the one web. You just auto this, let the spiders, you tank, let the spiders just do their thing. Then you go over here. Either if the solo laner has range attacks, let them pull first. If they don't, you run in and pull, and then back out, dropping another web on them, as well as making them walk through this web. If you do that correctly, you'll have 4 broodlings, plus your autos, and plus your solo laner's ability. So pretty much clear this faster than they'll clear their side. You'll either reach here at the same time or before them and get the early pressure. Arachne's early game clear of these two are very fast, especially if you get double webs on this for 4 broodlings. After that, you try to poke, do what you need to do. Try to poke this guy if you can. Try to poke the jungler. If you can get a kill, go for it. If not, don't push your luck. Then run to the fire minions, then assist in here. And then really what you're going to be doing as Arachne is you're going to be roaming a bit, grabbing any camp you can, whenever you can, poke whenever you can. I myself try to keep, when you know your yellow buff is spawning soon, try to go and steal their yellow buff. As Arachne, you want to have the speed advantage over their jungler, so always try to steal that yellow no matter what. Most of the time, it will allow you to completely obliterate the other jungler. And once you get a little bit ahead with Arachne, you just steamroll everything. A fast Arachne is a deadly Arachne, and making sure you're always the fastest in the game is definitely the positive side for that. And that's pretty much it on my tips for Arachne. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we get some games out soon. Ranked and unranked. I actually jumped a few ranks a few days ago just by doing Arachne, so that's always good. And if you have any questions or comments about how to play Arachne or anything, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.